Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, with me Shail Patnagar, and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. Well, amidst a lot of volatility and shoppiness, we've seen that the Nifty has managed to just be around the flat line as of now, 24,461. We've come off the day's high point for sure, but it's the Nifty Bank that's definitely outperforming with over 1% gains, and leading the gains within the bank space is the PSU Banking Index. That's the top moving sectoral index as well today, with about 2.5% of gains coming through. Apart from this, real estate, financial services, private banks are also up into the green. Along with it, we are also seeing some gains come around as far as the consumer durables and the IT space is concerned. But there are also profits being taken off on sectors like autos, for instance. The index is down by 0.8%. You also have metals, oil and gas and pharma also losing a bit of ground. Almost a half odd percent of decline can be seen across the board here. Remember, the PSU index also was in fine shape in the morning, and now we are seeing some of the profits being taken off there too. So stocks like BEL that were outperforming are now into the red. You also have stocks within the oil and gas space which is also slipping away in trade as of now. But on the Nifty, you have HDFC Life as the top performer, 2.3% higher. HDFC Bank continues to be in the strong showing, 1860 right now, 1.8% higher, and that's one of the key contributors of the Nifty and the Nifty Bank in the gains today. TCS, Apollo Hospitals and NTPC remain as the top movers right now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think today's FII number will be of critical importance, and you will see a very positive figure coming in. HDFC Bank has totaled 3,055 crores worth of transactions so far, and we have still 1 hour left in which a lot of institutional action is concerned. So this will be a number to watch out for. Very strong move that is coming into the PSU banking basket. Top gains in Indian Bank. These are all indications that something of critical importance is going to happen on Friday, which is the day of the RBI Monetary Policy Committee meeting, as also the credit policy announcement. The MPC will end on Thursday night, and of course the policy will be announced at 10 a.m. There are all hopes that there will be a CRR cut, but the overall interest rates will be held as far as markets are concerned. Early morning, Nifty had seen about 24,570, and from then on it's a bit of a profit booking, nothing to be worried about. 3 days of continuous gains to about 620 points, and the market is now sideways as far as Nifty is concerned, down 14 points. Mostly these gains are led by banks, but some of the stocks that make sense at this point of time on the long side are of course TCS, ICICI Bank, SBI, NTPC, and of course HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank is the highest weighted component on the Nifty, about 12.5%. It is contributing 38 points, and despite that you have a red tick on the Nifty because profit booking is seen on Reliance, profit booking is seen on Bharti Airtel, ITC. It's a very fine scenario. Look at the overall advanced decline picture. This is again positive when it comes to the broader markets. For the 4th day in a row, 1,343 shares are in the green versus 1,000 that are in the red. We track 19 indices for you. Early morning, it was a very robust opening when 18 out of 19 were in the green. Now only 14 are in the green. You see profit booking happening in the auto space, the metal space, and the pharma space. This is as good a time as any to also look at record highs, where money is moving in at this point of time as far as fresh peaks are concerned. Of course, there is HDFC Bank, but apart from HDFC Bank, there is Federal Bank that is at a record high. Policy Bazaar has made a fresh record high today. Then you have CDSL, Indian Hotels, CAMS, Persistent, and Oracle Financial Services. These are all names that we've been dabbling with over the last 2 or 3 sessions, and it is looking good as far as the broader markets are concerned. There is strength all around. Sakshi.
Okay, let's welcome our guest on board then. Raghavendra Singh, market expert, is now with us on the platform. Well, Raghavendra, good afternoon. Good to have you with us. Tell us what's the sense that you're getting. You know, of course, things will be starting to heat up with the Fed chair, speech coming in tonight and RBI policy to be announced on Friday. How are you really looking at the market moves right ahead of these two major events?
Sakshi ji, very good afternoon. Shailji, very good afternoon. As far as Nifty is concerned, last month high was around 25,000, 24,570 for 24,600 level was the high in last month. Even, October high was around 24,641. So Nifty is hovering around 24,500 since morning. और एक बार ये लेवल करेगा तो उसके बाद मुझे लगता है बहुत सी खासी रैली आएगी. सो मुझे लग रहा है कि ये जो लेवल है ये थोड़ा यह कंफ्यूजन पेज है, थोड़ा सा रिजेक्शन है, थोड़ा ये क्योंकि 2 महीने का हाई था, 2 महीने का लेवल को क्रॉस करके क्लोज करना इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एक बार ये होगा तो मुझे लगता है कि निफ्टी यहाँ से फिर 25,300 25,400 के लिए जाएगा. और रही बात फेड चेयरमैन की या फिर आपके आरबीआई गवर्नमेंट की, आरबीआई गवर्नर की, तो मुझे लग रहा है कि अभी जीडीपी के नंबर्स आ गए, इन्फ्लेशन के नंबर्स आ गए, तो फर्स्ट इज बिहाइंड एंड एवरी फैक्टर इज देयर इन द निफ्टी मूव, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी हम 2,000-2,500 पॉइंट नीचे आ चुके हैं. अब यहाँ से जो रिवर्सल आ रहा है वो अभी भी 700-800 पॉइंट का ही आया हुआ है. तो मुझे लग रहा है कि निफ्टी अगर यहाँ से नई चाल देता है और ये सारी चीजें जो है ऑलरेडी जो डिस्काउंटेड है, मुझे लग रहा है कि अब बहुत जल्दी हम यहाँ से नई ऊंचाई, मुझे लग रहा है 26,000 के लेवल जो है शायद हो सकता है अगले मंथ में या ये मंथ के एंड में या अगले मंथ में 15 जनवरी तक मुझे लगता है आना चाहिए. तो आई एम वेरी मच पॉजिटिव एंड वेरी मच श्योर कि कुछ निगेटिव न्यूज शायद अभी नहीं आ रहा है. तो मेरे हिसाब से अब यहाँ से निफ्टी नई ऊंचाई के लिए तैयार हो रहा है.
क्या बात है. बहुत बढ़िया आपने समीकरण किया यहाँ पर राघवेंद्र जी. आप बताइए निफ्टी में कौन कौन से स्टॉक्स आपको मजबूती में ट्रेड करते हैं दिखते हैं, अलावा एचडीएफसी बैंक पर, वहाँ तो रिकॉर्ड हाई हमारे सामने है ही, और कहाँ आपको लगता है कि मोमेंटम अब डेवलप हो रहा है?
शैल जी देखिए, एचडीएफसी में तो बहुत अच्छा खासा हुआ, डेफिनेटली जान रहे हैं हम लोग. इसके अलावा आप देखिए जो मोमेंटम बन रहा है, मुझे दिख रहा है मारुति में, मुझे दिख रहा है रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज में, मुझे दिखाई दे रहा है अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट में, मुझे दिखाई दे रहा है इन्फोसिस टीसीएस में. तो ये जो निफ्टी के हैवी वेट्स हैं, अब इसमें अच्छी खासी बाइंग मुझे दिखाई दे रही है कि अब धीरे धीरे जो है इन सारे स्टॉक्स में जो है बाइंग आएगी और ये स्टॉक्स यहाँ से जो है मुझे लग रहा है निफ्टी को ऊपर लेके जा सकते हैं. दूसरी एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये है कि आप देखिए निफ्टी पीएसयू बैंक में पिछले 1 महीने से बार बार कह रहा हूँ, आप पिछले 10 साल का डेटा निकाल लीजिए, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, ये 3 महीना नॉर्मली पीएसयू बैंक्स, पीएसयू स्टॉक्स के लिए रहता है क्योंकि बजट आता है. तो मुझे लग रहा है कि पीएसयू की रैली जो स्टार्ट हुई है वो अगले 1 महीने तक और रिज्यूम होने वाली है. आफ्टर दैट मुझे लगता है फिर उसके बाद थोड़ी सी रैली थोड़ी रुकेगी, लेकिन हो सकता है कि पीएसयू बैंक, पीएसयू स्टॉक्स और ये जो मैंने आपको 4-5 स्टॉक्स बताए जो निफ्टी के हैवी वेट्स हैं, यही निफ्टी को लेकर के ऊपर जाए यहाँ से.
Right. So, Raghavendra ji, since you're talking about the PSU story, let's talk about the PSU banks, which is outperforming today also, and many stocks within that space are up even 7, 8 and 9% intraday. So, UCO Bank, for instance, is up by about 9%. You have Central Bank of India that's up 7.5%. 7% uptick for IOB. Punjab and Sind Bank is 7% up, and all of them are definitely in the green, and there are sharp gains at least in 6 of them which are near to over 5% higher. How would you really look at these particular stocks within the PSU banks, and where would you throw your weight behind?
साक्षी, अगर आप पीएसयू बैंक को देखो, so almost all PSU banks are up around 8 to 9% with the good volume. So I believe this breakout is very strong and backed by the good volume. So I think this trend line which has been broken today and day before yesterday, so I think ये यहाँ से 20 से 25% का upside और इन सारे stocks में लगता है. So I'm very much positive. Even from past 2 months I'm saying PSU banks, including SBI, PNB, Canara Bank, यूको बैंक, पीएनबी, ये सारे स्टॉक जो है पिछले 2 महीने से जिसमें डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चल रहा था, देयर वाज नो वॉल्यूम इन दैट. मुझे लग रहा है कि वो वॉल्यूम का बस्ट हुआ है और अभी ये जो यहाँ से रैली मिल रही है, मुझे लग रहा है ये बहुत अच्छी खासी रैली मिलेगी पीएसयू बैंक में. सो ऑलमोस्ट आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग 20-30% अपसाइड फ्रॉम दिस लेवल.
That's a fair point. What else is looking good, Raghavendra ji, when you look at charts within the banking space? How about Axis Bank? What are the charts of SBI telling you? Canara Bank, Indian Bank, यहाँ पर कौन सी चार्ट्स आपको मजबूत दिख रही हैं?
देखिए, अगर आप एसबीआई की बात करेंगे तो एसबीआई में आप देखिए इनवर्स एजेंट विंडो बना हुआ है और वो ब्रेकआउट की कगार पे है। तो ट्रेंड लाइन जो उसका नेक लाइन है वो ऑलमोस्ट 850 860 का रेंज है। अब उसी रेंज में जिस दिन एसबीआई 860 के ऊपर क्लोज हो गया स्पॉट पे, मुझे लगता है कि 920 925 का लेवल इमीडिएट दिखाई देगा। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट केनरा बैंक वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग सपोर्ट एट 101.60 व्हिच हैव बीन रिकमेंडेड लास्ट वीक आई थिंक ऑन योर शो जी। और मुझे लग रहा है कि वो ब्रेकआउट हो चुका है केनरा बैंक का, अब ये यहाँ से रुकने वाला नहीं है। तो 117 एंड 124 ये दो लेवल आ रहे हैं केनरा बैंक के। इसके अलावा मैं अगर आईसीआईसीआई और एक्सिस बैंक की बात करूं तो मुझे एचडीएफसी में ज्यादा उम्मीद लग रही है रेदर देन आईसीआईसीआई एंड एक्सिस। मुझे लग रहा है कि एक्सिस और आईसीआईसीआई दोनों जो है रैली दे चुकी हैं। अब हो सकता है 2-3%, 4%, 10% रैली और हो 4% मैक्सिमम मुझे लगता है यहाँ से। लेकिन मुझे लग रहा है कि एचडीएफसी में अभी भी 1900 तक की रैली बाकी है। 1920 1930 का जो टॉप है मुझे लगता है वहां बनना चाहिए, नया हाई बनना चाहिए उस लेवल तक। रिट्रेसमेंट जो आएगा फिबोनाची के हिसाब से 61% मुझे लगता है 1920 का आता है एचडीएफसी बैंक में। तो वो एक लेवल आएगा, वहां से फिर देखते हैं क्या होता है। तो मुझे एचडीएफसी ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग लग रहा है रेदर देन आईसीआईसीआई एंड एक्सिस। पीएसयू में मुझे जितने पीएसयू बैंक है, चाहे आप एसबीआई ले लो, केनरा बैंक ले लो, आप पीएनबी ले लीजिए, सब में अच्छा खासा ब्रेकआउट हो चुका है। एसबीआई थोड़ा रुका हुआ है 860 के ऊपर। मैं बस आज की क्लोजिंग वेट कर रहा हूँ 860 पे। अगर एक दिन मुझे क्लोजिंग और मिलती है, इससे अच्छा ब्रेकआउट किसी में नहीं होगा। ये आपको 900 920 तक लेके जाएगा।
ओके, गॉट इट। तो चलिए, ये तो रहा एसबीआई और बाकी पीएसयू बैंक्स के बारे में जहां पर मजबूती से यहाँ पर मूव देखने को मिल रहा है। आर यू ऑल्सो लुकिंग एट एनबीएफसी शेयर्स? राघवेंद्र, डू यू लाइक सम ऑफ द होम फाइनेंसिंग नेम्स ऑल्सो टुडे? अगेन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ मूव अक्रॉस द स्पेस. NBFCs and even the broking houses spaces, they are all up and about. We have a lot of stocks like Manapuram Finance, PNB Housing Finance, Poonawalla FinCorp, Hoodco as well, Geo Financial Services, L&T Finance, all of them are up and about, Indostar. Where do you want to keep your focus as far as the NBFC names are concerned? Again, within the private and the PSU bank, NBFCs, where would you keep your focus?
Sakshi, my focus is only on Bajaj Finance. I'm not considering Poonawalla and other, finance companies because the kind of breakout, I can see in Bajaj Finance is very good. I think trend line has been broken around 6600, 6700. Now it is trading around 6750. I'm expecting 7200, 7500 in Bajaj Finance. And the, volume, it has given a breakout with the good volume. And the rollover was good, around 98% in the Bajaj Finance in the last month. So I'm expecting Bajaj Finance to touch 7200. Apart from this, Poonawalla is there, but I'm not, I'm not sure that this stock could, give good ROI. But I think Bajaj Finance in NBFC sector.
Okay. Right.
Bajaj Finance is something that needs to be paid attention to for a very simple reason, Sakshi, that it hasn't participated at all. If you look at days which are before
Absolutely.
the last 2 or last 3, and you have stocks like HDFC Bank, you have stocks like SBI, Maruti to some extent, where the last rally has been phenomenal over the last 620 points on the Nifty. So it is about time for Bajaj Finance to move. Remember, yesterday we were discussing Geo Finance. It had shown a substantial move. Even today, Geo is up 1.5%, 345. So Bajaj Finance is a catch-up trade, and of course, a very, very strong correction that has already taken place from its record high. Let's visit some more stocks that are doing extremely well. Pidilite, now up 1.78%. This is something which is moving very rapidly. Early morning low was 31.35. Now we are at 32.03. And if you look at the daily chart on Pidilite, this is also a very, very strong move coming after 4 or 5 days of very quick rally. Recent low was 29.30. What are the charts of Pidilite telling you, इधर राघवेंद्र जी?
सर पिडिलाइट मुझे लग रहा है सर एकदम सप्लाई डाउन पे है. इफ इट क्लोज अबव 3200 टुडे, सो अगेन आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग 3400 ऑन द कार्ड देयर. तो एक बार ये 32 के ऊपर क्लोज मिल जाए, क्योंकि बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रेजिस्टेंस है और यहाँ से सप्लाई बहुत बार आई है, तो मेरे हिसाब से आज का वॉल्यूम भी अच्छा है. मुझे लग रहा है कि डेरिवेटिव में ओपन इंटरेस्ट भी अच्छा इसमें है. तो अगेन एक यहाँ पे चांस मैं लूंगा. रिस्क रिवॉर्ड इज फेवरेबल, सो मैं 3160 का स्टॉप लॉस लगा के यहाँ पे बाई करूंगा फॉर द टारगेट ऑफ 3400. अराउंड 3300 3320 के आसपास एक छोटा सा रेजिस्टेंस है, वो क्रॉस करेगा तो और तेजी से ऊपर जाएगा. सो अगेन पीटीलाइट इज द बाय फॉर मी विद द स्टॉप लॉस ऑफ 3160.
Pidilite is a buy for you. We'll keep an eye out on that stock too. The other pocket that is garnering more strength is the real estate space as well. Again, another space which will be important to watch out for right ahead of the RBI policy. These are considered as rate sensitive sectors, even though the markets are probably penciling in a status quo right now, but it will be very important to gauge what will be the future stance on the RBI. Are they going to be really looking at a rate cut sooner or later, is something that the markets are really looking at. So the banks are in fine fettle right ahead of the RBI policy, and so is the real estate space. Your sense, Raghavendra ji, real estate space, where would you keep your focus even now?
Lodha developers given a strong breakout around 1320, 1340, now hovering around 1360. Again, I am expecting this stock to touch 1460, 1425. So ये एक stock जो मुझे strong दिख रहा है. Apart from this, Godrej Properties. Godrej Properties is also looking good, and the stock is trading around 2800. Again, the stock is forming a pattern of rounding bottom and cup and handle. So again, if it is trading around 2900 above that, then stock has potential to touch 3200. तो ये दो स्टॉक हैं, मुझे लगता है साक्षी जी बाई करना चाहिए यहाँ से रियल एस्टेट में. बाकी स्टॉक अभी एक रेंज बाउंड है, तो बहुत बड़ा ब्रेकआउट या ब्रेकडाउन नहीं दिख रहा उसमें. बट दीज टू स्टॉक्स आर लुकिंग गुड ऑन द चार्ट.
Got it. So that's as far as the real estate space is concerned. Let's also look at some other pockets then to see where the momentum is further building up within the F&O space as well. Let's look at a few spaces stocks that are actually doing well. In fact, Macrotech is also moving up in the F&O space as well, as Raghavendra has pointed out, and some of the banks are also performing well. Even Oberoi Realty is doing very well. Remember, Shell pointed this out in the morning, and I think Nuvama came out with a report on 2500 kind of targets on this one. That's also pulled up the stock higher in trade. PB Fintech is also doing well, and Paytm has pulled up pace in the F&O space as well. Let's talk about this, Raghavendra. Paytm and PB Fintech, between these two, where do you find the charts more attractive at this point in time? Where would you initiate a coverage?
Policy Bazaar, PB Fintech is looking good, and apart from that, Paytm तो बहुत अच्छा ब्रेकआउट दे चुका है ऑलरेडी. मुझे लगता है साक्षी जी ऑलरेडी स्टॉक इट इज ट्रेडिंग अराउंड 1000 लेवल, बट आई एम मोर I'm very much positive in PB Fintech. I'm expecting stock to touch 2500 by this month end, maybe January, because this is the season from where most of the taxpayers are buying the insurance, and Policy Bazaar is the only platform from where they can buy. So I'm expecting a good business in this season, for this company PB Fintech. ये जो पेटीएम है, पेटीएम ठीक है, अच्छा दिख रहा है, अच्छा ब्रेकआउट है, बट बहुत ज्यादा ऊपर जाने के चांसेस नहीं है. अगर स्टॉक 1000 के ऊपर गया तो उसके बाद देखेंगे, बट फिलहाल मुझे लगता है कि PB Fintech इज गुड.
Okay.
Which is because of the quality of investors and the management, it remains, there. Let's just say that they are best avoided. But one of them is RBL Bank. This is something that has shown a very deep correction already. Till about 3 days ago, it was at 147, and now it is at 171. Again, as Raghavendra is saying, look at the volume, look at how the price has moved, and very, very good action in terms of the technical charts also. Raghvendra ji, would you want to comment on RBL Bank?
सर बहुत रिस्की वाला स्टॉक है ये, जब भी कमेंट करते हैं उल्टा ही होता है। तो मेरे हिसाब से जो है स्टॉक में अच्छा वॉल्यूम खासा है, अच्छा वॉल्यूम तो है, थ्री स्टेप वाइट क्रो भी बना हुआ है, तो मुझे लग रहा है कि स्टॉक तो अच्छे पैटर्न में है। एक बार स्टॉक 173 क्रॉस करेगा तो 180 एंड 200 के लेवल, बिकॉज देयर इज वन स्मॉल गैप फ्रॉम 200 टू 192, तो ये गैप भरने के लिए मुझे लग रहा है कि ऊपर जा रहा है। तो 192 से 202 ये जो 10 रुपए का गैप है ये भरना चाहिए बहुत जल्दी, तो स्टॉक बिल्कुल बाय कर सकते हैं, बट 160
जी। The interesting part on RBL Bank is that for 5 consecutive months it has fallen, and this is a swing trade in the making. Good quality or bad quality only time will tell. Actually, bad quality or very bad quality only time will tell. But for people who look at the real base and want to punt into stocks which might show very good swing trades, this is right for them. RBL available at the moment, of course, at 171, but 1 week ago or maybe 3 days ago it was at its lowest since May 23. But remember, this is just 1 or 2 days. Post credit policy again, I think you will have selling pressure, but like I said, these are observations in nature. You need to sort of speak to your financial advisor. And Sakshi, there is no stopping HEG. Yesterday it was a double digit gain, today again 15% higher. It's a blowout. Let's get a conversation with Raghvendra. I think Raghvendra was with me yesterday and he did mention that he would buy HEG at current levels. No, that was Rudramurthy, Mr. Rudramurthy. Let's get Raghvendra's view. Raghvendra ji, HEG.
वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग मूव विद द गुड वॉल्यूम सर जी, मुझे लग रहा है 500 के ऊपर स्टॉक ब्लास्ट हो चुका है। सो अगेन स्टॉक है पोटेंशियल टू टच 670 700 लेवल वेरी सून, तो above 540 stock is looking very good. One can keep a stop loss of 540 and can buy for the 700 target.
Okay, so that's a strong move that we have actually seen on this one, and we'll continue to track this as well. The other space that's also looking very interesting is the entire power space, renewable energy space. That's also buzzing in trade, Raghvendra. I mean, look at a KEC International or maybe a Suzlon or Transformers Rectifier. Even those stocks that we hardly discuss, Reliance Power and Jaiprakash Power, they're also kind of power space. That is, of course, REC, PFC and IRIDA is something that we've been consistently marking. But your sense across the board within the power space, is this the beginning of yet another rally after a base building exercise has taken place within the power pack?
Absolutely, Sakshi. I think, the kind of move we have seen in KEC, stock have potential to touch 1250 to 1300 level. Very strong breakout on the chart, and this momentum can continue at least hit 1300. Apart from this, REC, PFC is also looking good. NTPC Power is looking good. Above 150, again, I can see, 175, 180 level for the NTPC Power. Apart from that, Suzlon is also looking good because there is a good volume in Suzlon. And I think this is stock have potential to touch, another new high very soon. So almost it is trading around 67, 68. So it can touch 85, 90 level. So all power stocks, energy stocks are looking good. And I think if Nifty have to travel around 25,500, all these stocks can, participate in the rally. So these are all the beaten down stocks. Now they are again, gearing up for the new rally.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the power space is concerned, and the rally over there too. Raghavendra, have you also looked at the recent defense and the railway rally that has pulled up some of the stocks right there? Is this space looking more interesting to you at all after the recent move?
Absolutely, Sakshi. If you remember, we were discussing for this stock called Mazgaon Dog around 42, 4300 level.
Yeah.
That, I have been consistently telling my viewers to buy defensive stock, because this is the time when you can accumulate the stocks and you can sell it on the on the higher side. Now stock has already given 600 700 rupees rally from the lower lane. Again, I'm expecting 5200 level in the Mazgaon dog and 5000 level in the HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics. Apart from this, BEL is looking good. A very strong breakout above 300. So 325, 330 is the strong resistance zone. Apart from that, मुझे लग रहा है कि और जितने भी डिफेंस स्टॉक है, एक नई रैली स्टार्ट हुई है. रेलवे स्टॉक्स आर लुकिंग गुड क्योंकि बजट आ रहा है. तो रेलवे, पावर, डिफेंस सारे बजट वाले थीम है. पीएसयू बैंक, ये सारे बजट वाले थीम है. मुझे लग रहा है सब में रैली जो है चौतरफा हो रही है और ये रैली कंटिन्यू हो सकती है.
Yes, we'll also look at the Nifty PSU Banking Index. When you look at the chart of the index, that is also doing very, very well. Today's uptick is somewhere to the vicinity of 2.25%, and somewhere in October we had talked about this low that was tested. It's already corrected about 23-24%, and just the right time to maybe get into it. Of course, again we need to see what happens on Friday, but if the CRR rate cut does happen, then of course the momentum in public sector banks will be phenomenal. Again, I'll point out something very exciting which I did somewhere in October, that if you see it from the June 4th high, the day before the election counting, to the lowest since 22nd November, it's been a very, very nice 23% correction, and after that it hasn't looked back. Says as far as Raghavendra's chart are concerned. Nifty PSU Banking Index, Raghavendra, what do you feel?
PSU Bank शैल जी, यहाँ से तो बहुत अच्छा खासा मोमेंटम दिख रहा है मुझे. आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग PSU index to touch 7700, 7600 level. The index has already given a breakout. So again, chart is showing something a good up move on the higher side. So 7700, 7600, entire PSU theme will be good for this next 2 months. So again, दिसंबर और जनवरी जो है ये 2 महीना PSU के लिए होने वाला. तो PSU बैंक्स, चाहे वो SBI हो, चाहे वो बैंक बड़ौदा हो, चाहे वो और जितने PSU बैंक है, तो अगेन आई एम सेइंग कि 20-30% की रैली बची हुई है अभी भी, तो वो मिलने वाली बहुत जल्दी सबको भी.
Right. Let's also focus on some of the other pockets then. Within the broader markets, there are some other interesting names that are also pulling up in trade, beyond the banking space that we've been talking about. Niva Bupa Health Insurance. Remember this recently listed stock. It's 20% circuit today. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Apart from this, there is Swan Energy that's up 14%. You also have stocks like Wonderla Holidays that's moving up about 11 odd percent. Vadilal Industries, which we rarely discuss. These are the stocks that are actually pulling up pretty strongly. Within the Nifty Next 50, you also have some other names like Geofin, we've already discussed. Zomato is up by 2%. That's also buzzing sharply in trade. Adani Energy Solutions is just half odd percent higher. Today they are actually on the back foot, the Adani Group stocks right there. But railway stocks like we have marked, stocks like IRFC, they are also in thick focus. IRCTC is also buzzing in trade. These are the kind of stocks that are buzzing. Avenue Supermarts after a long haul is also buzzing about half odd percent higher in trade. But it's the insurance space that also warrants our attention. Today it's up. HDFC was among the top movers in the Nifty. Then you also have stocks like ICICI Lombard that's pulling up in trade, SBI Life, LIC. They're also, showing some traction right there. Would it be a comfortable zone for you to be in insurance? Do you look at it favorably?
I think ICICI Lombard and SDFC Life, we have discussed day before yesterday with you, Sakshi. Again, there is a strong breakout in these two stocks. So again, SDFC Life is looking good. SDFC Life, I think SDFC Life can touch around 700 plus level. So it has given bullish engulfing pattern breakout, and now it is trading around 750. So 700 is a target for the SDFC Life. ICICI Lombard, again, ICICI Lombard is again trading around 1950. So the stock has potential to touch 2094, and the second target is 2275. So these two stocks are looking good. One can buy these two stocks. Apart from this, LIC is also trading around 900 and 960. So again, LIC house LIC insurance can also touch around 1100 plus level.
Okay.
Right. The again underlying theme in LIC, HDFC Life, Max Life, and SBI Life is simple. On December 21st, it's the group of ministers and the GST Council who will take a call to either remove or slash GST on medical insurance for senior citizen, as also the GST of 18% to be brought down to 5% on life insurance. These are proposals that have been given by the GST panel to the group of ministers, and the final decision will be coming on December 21st. In any case, long-term wealth destruction, if one needs to learn, it is from counters like HDFC Life. Nothing has happened since it got listed. In fact, it's a subpar compounder considering the brand that it belongs to and the kind of enthusiasm that people had once HDFC Life was listed. Anyways, let us see how it goes. Let's hope this is a kicker which long-term investors are hoping for. But for the moment, let's look at the top performers on the apart from Niva Bhupa that Sakshi's mentioned several times. 20% higher, Sakshi. This is also the same thing, insurance. You will have a very nice move which is coming in Swan Energy, 12.3% higher, 709. Very nice move coming into Vadilal Industries, the maker of ice creams, 10% higher, 4169. Wonderla you've marked 9% higher, 904. UCO Bank we've touched upon, and of course Indian Overseas Bank, Nelco, and of course the maker of Khadim shoes, at the moment 7% higher, 403. Anything that catches your interest, Raghvendra ji?
Unfortunately, I don't track these stocks very, minutely. But I think Nalco
no worries,
is good. Nalco is looking good. अभी तो 1200 के आसपास ट्रेड हो रहा है, तो वो एक थोड़ा ब्रेकआउट दे सकता है. निवा बुपा मैंने अभी चार्ट देखा है, इसका वॉल्यूम तो अच्छा है इसमें. सो दिस स्टॉक ये भी लग रहा है कि थोड़ा एक 120 125 रुपए तक की रैली मिलनी चाहिए इसको.
Okay. All right, Raghavendra, we'll leave you at that. Thank you so much for sparing your time with us and sharing all those insights on the markets. Good to have you. Let's now welcome another guest on board. Now, viewers, we are now joined by Vineet Bulinshkar, the head of research at Ventura Securities, who's now joining in to share with us his insight on the markets. Warm welcome to you, Vineet. Good to have you with us. Tell us first, how are you really looking at the global as well as the local scenario play out? A lot has taken place since the time we spoke to you last. I mean, like GDP is slowing down. Then we have the RBI policy coming up. Globally, of course, there are geopolitical tensions that are taking place in some parts of the world. Whereas, in the US again, the US Fed is going to be coming up with the statements too. So a lot to be seen. And of course, FIIs have come back with a strong purchase yesterday. What is the sense that you're getting on the markets right now? Are you on mute by any chance? Could you please check that?
So, we need to be very, very cautious with what the recovery that has taken place. I still believe that, 200-300 points higher and we could see some selling pressure come in. My sense is that the geopolitics, which had, kind of eased off, is going to build up tensions again. And I'm particularly wary about what is happening in our neighborhood, in the subcontinent. Things could get out of hand. And as much as India would like to avoid any kind of provocation, you will find that we could be forced to intervene in that situation and things could turn negative from there. So having said that, apart from that, I believe that there is not going to be any change in the interest rates as far as the policy is concerned. So we might see the market move up ahead only if the geopolitical next week does not deteriorate significantly.
Good afternoon, Vineet. And Sakshi, I must share this information with you. One day, Vineet, out of the blue, texted me that you pronounced my surname wrong. So I asked him to. And I'm not to be blamed. He said entire media does that. So for the record, ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking to Mr. Vineet Bolinchkar, and let's get him back. Vineet, is the pronunciation now correct? Bolinchkar.
Yes, you got it right.
Okay. I promise I won't make that mistake again. But just for those who keep genealogy in the back of their mind, tell us where the Bolinchkars originate from, and why do they like food so much?
So the Bolinchkars originate from very close to Mumbai. There's a village called Bolinj near Mumbai Virar, and so that's how it originates. And we like food so much because food is the next big thing that is going to take place.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, and one good thing is that back in action. Vineet, your view on CDSL now? It's a part of the F&O space as well. Selling to get the valuations back in place. But here's CDSL, here's PB Fintech, both of them doing a very...
PB Fintech we continue to like. I think insurance is gaining traction and they are very focused on this space. Also they are into the banking, raising lending products, selling lending products. So we like PB Fintech, and CDSL also we like because there's no stopping in the number of IPOs that are abounding in the market. So we have 4 lined up this week, and every time you have a new IPO come in, you have new accounts being opened. So the account opening spree continues, financialization continues to grow at blitzkrieg, and hence we remain long-term positive on both these stocks.
Okay, right, we'll focus on that. And I just wanted to also get the Adani space also out of the way before we move on forward. How have you assessed the situation now? 3-4 days of consecutive buying action coming in across the board on the Adani group after clarifications and a series of that floated on the US bribery case. Most of the stocks have also kind of recovered what they had lost in terms of ground post the US indictment news flow had also come in. Some of the stocks have rallied 50-60% in just 3 days or so. What is the sense that you're getting? Are you buying any of these stocks in this current space, or are you staying away?
No, we are definitely buyers at the current levels because they are at almost 50% valuation of their intrinsic worth if you measure it out over the next couple of years. But the only negative that is there is that we've seen 3 big sell-offs come in these stocks, and retail investors are not buying them because they are very badly burnt. So I believe that until the retail investor does not get back, these stocks are not going to do anything much. Recoveries are there, but they are not at the levels of which they were prior to the slam dunk. So 3000 was where Adani Enterprises was, and it's quoting at very low valuations currently. So you need to get these stocks up to around 20, another 15-20% higher before you have renewed interest coming into these stocks.
310, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fine outing on the market. We've seen the Nifty try eclipse 24,500 today. The intraday high was 570, but again selling pressure from call writers at 24,600 combined with 24,500 has sort of tempered gains in any case, this is the fourth day of consecutive gains. Bank Nifty doing pretty well. Strong moves coming into HDFC Bank. The PSU banking basket is alight with gains. Look at UCO Bank now up 11%. Indian Bank is up 3.5%, 4%. Strong moves coming into Bank of India, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda. You name it, it's alight and alive with gains. These are stocks that have corrected 25, 33, 35% from their recent highs hit in June, and a renewed momentum ahead of the RBI credit policy. Vineet, are you part of this market group which says or which hopes rather of a CRR cut now on Friday, and maybe the pulling ahead of an interest rate cut in February instead of April, given the fact that growth has strode tremendously in the economy?
So yes, definitely there is going to be a CRR cut. And if you have a CRR cut, the entire financials are going to move up, because then there is a hope that an interest rate cut will amount. So I am seeing this pack play out very well going ahead.
Okay, got that. Any view on the RBI policy this time around, Vineet? What is your own expectation? What is it that the street will be liking or wanting to hear from the governor this time around? Especially this comes after 7-quarter low of GDP growth is what we've seen so far. The RBI has been clearly focused on inflation, and the markets have been waiting with a bated breath as to when will interest rate cut cycle begin. Do you think that will be pushed forward yet again?
So, I think before they get into a rate cut, they will cut the CRR, give some bullish commentary on, since the growth is slow, they might have to cut rates, etc. And they would say that, if they say that, we are more pro-growth than, wanting to address inflation, because now the elections are behind us, and they're tweaking the GST policy a bit to make things more palatable for the common man, and which could bring down inflation slightly. So considering all these facts, I think we could see a good rally continue to play out in the PSU banking stocks.
Okay, that's the view that is coming in, and CDSL 3.4% higher at 1721. There is no stopping momentum on this stock. Absolutely strong gains coming in, and the volumes are also dramatically higher. We've seen about 47 lakh shares being traded today, and that is also higher than yesterday. Keep an eye out on this one. We've seen the previous high being taken out. So fresh momentum on CDSL, on CAMS and K FinTech in the back end space of the world of mutual funds, the world of demat holdings, and the world of IPOs. Vineet, you were one of the first people to sort of be very enthusiastic about defense, and you sold also pretty early. By pretty early, I meant post the huge run up and much ahead of this correction. Is this time to again step back into defense counters given the valuations, or again everything is hunky dory?
No, I think the outlook has become brighter, and now is a good time to get into these stocks, because it is going to be one pocket which is going to kind of buck the trend. So if you're seeing, as I told you, so many international geopolitical situations light up, then you are going to see India becoming a very focal point in terms of sourcing of defense equipment and defense ancillaries. The four largest countries, USA, Israel, France, and Russia, are all at war, right? And most of the countries won't buy Russian make because they are of getting sanctioned. They would also not buy the US make because they are not very cheap. And India fits in perfectly to come in and supply equipment out here as well as ammo. So I believe that India will do very well over the next few years, given the defense requirements that have suddenly come up.
Okay, got that. Vineet, how would you really look at the scenario playing out in South Korea? I mean, like a K-drama unfolded last night. Do you think, with another country, facing some geopolitical and internal turmoils, will the FIS now increasingly focus on countries like India? Will they get more favor at this point in time?
So, China was a uh, big market where they faced losses twice around. South Korea has also kind of, seen a sell-off. So obviously, your investable universe kind of comes dipping down. And as long as you can keep the Indian markets, Indian political situation, away from any kind of negativity, I think definitely money will flow back into India. But at this point in time, I believe that the trend is more US bonds followed by US equities and then the rest of the world.
That's a fair assessment that you make as far as prices are concerned, Vineet. But what about these currency wars that we are seeing? Look at how the German mark is doing versus the US dollar. Won has shot down 2% yesterday. We are at record lows. Mr. Trump on a daily basis threatens everybody openly on forcing us to maintain a dollar forex reserve, or at least doing trades with other countries apart from the US and dollars. How do you see these currency wars shaping up?
See, you cannot. US has seen 400 years of hegemony, and the hegemony is under decline. And second thing, the more they US dollar, else we'll sanction you, the more the world is going to turn away from the dollar. And for the US markets also, sanity can only prevail if the the strong dollar policy does not play out. They need a weak dollar to kick in, their exports to start picking up, discourage imports, and curtail consumption so that their economy can somehow come back on track. And also provide an impetus to domestic manufacturing or reshoring, as they're calling it. So definitely, while Trump is making noises which are, detrimental to the dollar, it is actually what he would like to take place. So I think the entire world is in sync with the script that the dollar has to weaken, and we expect that to happen somewhere around the second quarter of FY26.
Okay. Right. Let's then focus on a few pockets then to understand where are fresh opportunities emerging for investors at this current point. First up, we are inching towards the end of the year. Do you expect, any kind of Santa rally to enthuse some of the pockets within the markets, if not the entire market? Anything particularly you're looking at, Vineet?
So I think, banking will come back, number one. Number two, defense stocks we have already spoken about. IT stocks continue to remain firm. And the fourth space which is going to catch up is going to be the green energy,
Okay.
electrification, and the data analytics space.
Okay. Any key names from this interesting space that you're watching out for? Again, NTPC Green was in focus today, and you're talking about electrification. All of these stocks are up in, fire today. How would you really look at some of these points?
So NTPC Green is one stock which you should compulsory own in your portfolio. There
Okay.
are 3 gigawatts of manufacturing going to 60 gigawatts. Uh, we like Anant Raj as a data center play. Apart from this, Black Box has been doing very well as an ancillary to data centers. So, focus on these data center stocks. They are more like small caps currently, but they will definitely put on significant in the next coming years because data centers are going to boom big time given the fact that AI is power hungry, needs to capture a lot of data, and the best expectations on data center deployment are going to fall far short of supply, and we expect positive surprises happening there, and hence we are extremely constructive on this entire space.
Okay.
3:22, ladies and gentlemen. We have just 8 minutes left to wrap up this day of consolidation that has happened, in which the Nifty did try to overcome 22,500, but intraday it has been a successful event. But sadly, it's the bears that proved their strength after 4 days of consecutive gains. Banks across the board have led the rally. The Nifty banking index on its own is up 1.1%, powered chiefly by HDFC Bank. Another set of very, very strong buying re-emerging into PSU banking counters. Is this a rally that will go beyond Monday? Only time will tell. But on Friday, you have the RBI credit policy. Now remember two important things. This is the last credit policy that will be headed by Dr. Shaktikanta Das as the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, unless he gets another 3-year extension. So most likely fireworks, and those fireworks are getting priced in the form of a potential cut in the cash reserve ratio, which the market is pricing in since Monday. Therefore, you see strong rallies happening in auto stocks. You see strong rallies happening in real estate spaces, and of course, banking has been on fire. One point, Vineet, I want to raise with you is this cut in bike prices by Bajaj Auto by 5,000 rupees on a newly launched vehicle which may not be getting traction. What is it telling you about overall demand?
See, you know what? Overall demand is adjusting to its long-term growth rate of 6-7% growth. It is mostly in line with GDP. And last couple of years, where we have seen the pent up demand play out, and now it is going back to normalcy. And given the fact that it is going to normalcy, we believe that Bajaj Auto is a slightly overvalued counter. So we would like to sell Bajaj Auto and buy Hero Honda.
Okay. Right, so that's going to be an interesting one to watch out for as far as the two-wheeler space is concerned. How about the four-wheelers, Vineet? What is your sense on, say, a Tata Motors versus M&M versus Maruti right now? Where are you really looking at more favorably at the current price points?
So, I think the auto space is going through a little bit of a demand lull. And, this EV space globally is facing extreme stress. And I expect that valuations could come off. So within that, we are more constructive on Mahindra and Maruti. And we don't like your Tata Motors. I personally believe that the Jaguar and Land Rover margins will come off. And given that kind of situation and that constituting almost 80% of the profitability, and whatever debt that has been provided for, they might be needing more of it. So, debt servicing could become an issue with JLR. And given that kind of scenario, I think this stock should be exited from the portfolio.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Okay, we'll keep an eye out on the entire auto space right there. Within the consumption basket, where else would you really continue to see the benefits pouring in? Consumer durables is something that's been pulling up. Do you think that is a space that interests you at all?
it's a very crowded space, and the AC story has already played out. I think the big surprise out here could be to watch Swiggy get into the space of electronic distribution.
Okay.
They've acquired this company called Lynx,
Yeah.
and I believe that that can be a game changer here. And the heat that you have seen the Kiranas and the DMarts of the world face, I think that is going to light up the consumer durables distribution market. And I am quite positive and constructive on Swiggy, followed by Zomato.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. And Swiggy is right now at 518, 3.2%
327, ladies and gentlemen. Sakshi, you remember early morning we were talking about these three counters, IRFC, IREDA and HUDCO. These are the financing arms of the government for different sectors. IRFC for railways, HUDCO for the housing space, and of course IREDA for the renewable space. All three of them are alive and alight with gains, and all of them have come in after substantial falls from record highs. So because it's a PSU rally, and again a lot of risk on trade is coming back into action, viewers are advised to please speak to their financial advisors and take a view on them. And we have the best of them, Vineet here. In the three here, Vineet, HUDCO, IREDA and IRFC, what would be your favorite after 30-35% corrections?
HUDCO, IRFC, followed by IREDA.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, we'll keep an eye out on all of these three. So that's always like how Vineet really puts it. Why not to have all of them, and why to choose? And this is the pocket that will be interesting going forward from here, since he believes this is going to be having massive legs over the next 5-10 years or so. Financiers are definitely going to be important to watch out for. Okay, so these are the financiers right there. But when we talk about construction, infra, this space as well, I wanted to talk about cement space that is also garnering more strength. Why I also was going to be discussing this, although I think there is just this rumor, it's not confirmed, that Star Cement shares surged on the potential Ambani-led Ambuja Cement buying spree as well. So, and a lot of M&A has already been taking place in this space, and we can expect such kind of headlines to continue to pour into the markets. Is cement looking interesting at this point in time to you?
So, cement is, you got to be careful out here what you buy. And I think Dalmia Bharat, which is quoting at replacement cost, is a very interesting stock to look at. I think this is one of the companies which will stay around. They have got a very, very neat, power mix in play. They manage their power cost very well. They are also one of the third or fourth largest players. And so this has been under the radar stock for a while, and I think that from here this stock could outperform the markets.
Okay, got that. Well, thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty has ended flat. Vineet ji, बहुत आभार आपका. Or we promise that we'll keep the surname pronunciation absolutely correct, and Sakshi and I are going to come to Mumbai to share a meal with you, which hopefully you will cook.
Of course, we will cook a lot of recipes.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you very much.
And for the record, Sakshi is vegetarian.
Right.
Okay. A day of very strong gains across the PSU banking basket, as also HDFC Bank, and I'm going to repeat what I'm telling you over the last half an hour or so. Today's FII number will be worth checking. Sakshi, these were the same people who sold HDFC Bank from 1400, my apologies, from 1500 to 1200, 1300. and these are the same people who are now buying it
1800.
back. Tomorrow's number, yes, today's number on FIs will be very positive, and that will fuel the rally on the PSU banking stocks, on HDFC Bank, and coming back into focus will be lenders such as Axis and ICICI, as also smaller ones such as RBL Bank. Again, wealth management space has done phenomenally well. Last week we had rallies in AMCs. This week we've seen the back end of mutual funds such as CAMS, such as K Fintech, such as CDSL rise, and maybe tomorrow will be the day for exchanges. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I call it a day. Sakshi will wrap it up.
All right, viewers, we'll start to wrap up. 24,467, 10 points higher in trade on the Nifty. It's the PSU banking day that panned out to be strong, 2.2% higher. That was the top moving sectoral index today, followed by Realty, financial services. Even the broader markets had a good run up, 1% higher for the mid-cap 100 index, about a 0.9% of an uptick for the small caps as well. Private banks also moved up about 0.8%. So the banking space entirely outperformed. When we look at the underperformers, FMCG, auto, oil and gas, metals, and the infra space, that dragged a bit. On the Nifty, you had top movers like HDFC Life, HDFC Bank, Apollo Hospitals, NTPC, and even Bajaj Finserv coming up strong towards the end of the session. But did not participate was Bharti Airtel, down 2.2%. Bajaj Auto, Tata Motors, Adani Ports, as well as Cipla were the top drags on the Nifty right now. The PSU story, the PSE index ended about 0.2% higher in trade, with stocks like GAIL, for instance, gaining about 3.4% up, IRFC, PFC, NTPC and HPCL as some of the other gainers. On the F&O space, you had stocks like Oberoi Realty, Macrotech, RBL Bank. These were the stocks that were in thick shape, whereas on the downside, you had stocks like Adani Green Energy, down by about 3.8%, Adani Total Gas 2.7% lower, Nykaa was down by about 2.2%, SJVN also was seen dragging a bit as well. That's as far as the market trade is done, but we'll wrap it up at that. But we'll be back tomorrow with another fresh edition of Market Today, so that you can continue to track what's important for you to really see as far as the global as well as local cues are concerned. Of course, things will start to shape up as far as the US Fed commentary is concerned, and we'll see how the markets react to that overnight in the US and tomorrow morning. Then you can be with us on Market Today, another edition. With that, it's a wrap on this one. Many thanks for joining in.
Parliament resumes work after a one-week washout, primarily over demands for debate on industrialist Adani's indictment in the US. While House proceedings started again on Tuesday,